feigning ignorance to hide his knowledge. However, in chat, he writes what he is really thinking and just doesn't send the message, revealing that he knows he's not alone for sure now. In short, with his limited knowledge and clearly inferior capabilities to his pursuer, outplayed them and caught them red-handed. From here, Dorlord gets to the maze, and I really don't have too much to say here. He uses blocks to keep track of where he's been, very smart strategy, and the best to do in short time. It's here though where he arrives to his most impressive feat from a real-world standpoint: solving the cipher. Dorlord comes to a massive wall with some sort of code written on it, requiring someone to solve it and then flip levers as described to open a door. As shown, Dorlord gets a pen and paper and solves it in less than 20 minutes. Now, at first, this doesn't seem too impressive. People can solve simple substitution ciphers in around 10 minutes or so with little training. The thing that makes it really impressive is that Dorlord says this was from cipher stacking, putting two completely unknown codes on top of one another to double scramble the code. Simply put, to solve this at all, alone in 17 minutes requires either superhuman luck of guessing 2 correct keys in a row from essentially infinite possibilities, or being unnaturally intelligent, almost superhumanly so. For reference, from what I've seen, people are only now potentially solving what it means weeks later, and only got that answer through using metatextual clues like the word yellow that Dorlord would not yet know the significance of until after the door had been opened. From here though, ironically, after solving this poem, he just breaks through the door with a pickaxe, a simple bit of thinking outside the box and another point for his IQ. The majority of the rest of this video is Dorlord exploring the abandoned town before finally coming to the final stretch, the notorious crossroads. Dorlord turns left as the very structure of the Minecraft world itself begins to bend and warp, but curiosity pushes him forward and he gets to the open golden doors. Looking inside, the image is censored by Dorlord himself. From here, he runs the other way, digs his way out to the very room he started in, and writes one final message, the iconic "Don't Turn Left" message, revealing vaguely at least everything he could determine. It's listening, it's watching, it's not from this world, you can't outsmart it. He then makes a code and the video ends. So this is when the video goes from the limits of humanity to well beyond it. What did Dorlord see? It's the King in Yellow, or at least an interpretation of it. Look at any post or fan art about this video and you'll see the King in Yellow. Now, this video isn't super about the King in Yellow, but at least for the sake of this video, the King in Yellow is a god across numerous Lovecrafty and adjacent mythologies that is generally associated with driving people mad or making them experience knowledge far beyond their comprehension, which also drives them mad just by experiencing it. There are numerous clues that point to the King in Yellow being the entity behind that black censor bar. The village having the yellow theme, the yellow doors, Dorlord 3 might literally mean the Lord in Yellow, and how the riddle is likely solved with the word yellow. And clearly, Dorlord gains supernatural knowledge after this. Not only does he not go insane from looking at this incomprehensible god, he at bare minimum looked at it a second time when he censored the video. After this experience, he knows about things that haven't even happened yet, essentially gaining future sight, knowing the exact name of the person who will read his message and get his computer, Avery. He also somehow manages to make a Google Drive folder with the exact link based on a code from one frame of Avery's inventory that he hadn't even seen. So what do I make of Dorlord? Well, firstly, I think there was only really one thing he was wrong about, and that was that you can't outsmart the King in Yellow. This is simply wrong, and he was the one that proved that. Clearly, he was traumatized and potentially saw the infinite knowledge of the universe, but he did outplay the god. The grass block trap proves it. Something so simple, but so damning. A mortal managed to outplay a god, and even though he couldn't see it, proved that he can be beaten. If not by him, then maybe someone else. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This is definitely the most niche video I've ever made, so please, if you liked it, do all that lovely stuff that supports the video. Also, again, shout out to Weefy for this incredible video, as well as all the fan artists who have brought this story further to life. But that's gonna be all from me. See ya.
This is the hardest AI-generated Minecraft escape room made by the best AI, ChatGPT-4, and today I'm going to try and beat it and prove that nothing, not even robots, are superior to humanity. How? Well, ChatGPT will generate 10 different chambers for me to solve, and I only get 3 strikes. That is, any more than 3 that I fail to solve, I lose. If I solve 7 or more, I win, and humanity wins. I mean, surely this shouldn't be hard. AI can't possibly capture the human creativity needed to create a Minecraft escape. What in the world is this? There is not a single placeable block. I have slime, string, feathers, and seeds, and ChatGPT wants me to climb 18 blocks to the exit? There's no way this is possible. I checked my crafting recipes and all I could make was wool out of string. Without a crafting table, I was literally helpless. Even using the chest holding the items, which wasn't technically on the list, wouldn't get me any closer. I had no idea how to solve this puzzle and would have to give up a strike on round 1, leaving me with only 2 more until I lose the challenge. This was a terrible start, but I couldn't possibly see how this puzzle was doable. So with a score of 0 to 1, I asked ChatGPT for the solution to maybe get some insight into what I missed. Craft leads without a crafting table, create chickens from eggs, grow wheat on nothing, and float up with chickens. The solution was nonsense. This escape room was never possible to begin with, and this challenge just got ridiculously harder. The AI has no idea what it's talking about, so I was up against 10 potentially impossible escape rooms, which meant I had to do everything in my power to win. Any dimension, any version, any possible glitch to abuse is fair game. I was going to win against the AI no matter what. For humanity. In room number 2, I got 15 dirt blocks, a fishing rod, 4 snowballs, and 2 iron blocks. And my task? To pillar up 25 blocks. Simply stacking up with my dirt would leave me 10 blocks short, and crafting my snowballs into snow and using my iron would still leave me 7 blocks off. ChatGPT's solution was absolutely atrocious and defied the laws of physics, so I was totally stuck. It looked like, again, I had a completely impossible task, if not for one thing, the rod. Behind pearls, boats, and water, the fishing rod is probably the most OP item you can give in an escape room. Why? Well, if I pillar high enough and break blocks as I go, I could use the fishing rod to pull the dirt back up to me. Well, in theory at least. And after messing around for a few minutes, I developed a diving board setup that allowed me to jump down and collect all the dirt I used to pillar up. And after a few minutes of climbing, there it was. I got the blocks and made it up. The score was 1 to 1. If I wanted to score a win for humanity, I would need to win at least 6 out of the next 8 rooms. The third room was less straightforward. I had a decent mix of redstone supplies, but not nearly enough to simply pillar out of the 40 block room. But the slime block and pistons could only mean one thing, a launcher. I tried launching myself up to see how far I'd get. Not bad, but I quickly realized the problem. Once I launched once, I would lose my slime block. I could keep my lever, but that wouldn't mean much. I then tried to break the slime block as I was jumping. If I could keep it before moving on to the next piston, I could launch myself all 4 times. Problem is, while a piston is firing, it turns into a different block called a moving piston, where the slime block is in a limbo state as it moves, meaning it's unbreakable while it launches me. That was a dead end. It seemed like I was getting nowhere until this happened. Bud powering, or if you want to sound smart, quasi-connectivity. This piston shouldn't be powered, but that one misplaced gravel tricked it into updating through a quirk of redstone. If I could have every piston double extend like this, it would give me twice the height per piston, and just like that, one lever, 2 pistons extended. And if I used my other lever, I could get all the way up. But was it even possible, and would it even be enough? Well, I had to try to find out. I spent around 15 minutes just messing around with levers and pistons to try and find a Bud setup. I went on the wiki to read more and even watch my own 3-year-old video on quasi-connectivity to master how it works. Except after all that, I realized, for the kind of mechanics that I wanted to use, the only way to get 2 blocks out of each piston was to try and cheese my lever through the gravel. And after multiple failed attempts, I realized something looming. Even if I had extra levers, even if I boosted myself perfectly onto the chest I wasn't meant to have, have, even if all of that worked in my favor, I would still be short 10 blocks. This room seemed completely impossible. I would have to take yet another strike, putting me at 1 to 2 in the first 3 rounds. But I had one more ace up my sleeve: version changes. I could play the escape room in any version of Minecraft as long as I only used what was given, so there was one update I went to: 23W13A or B, the vote update. If you don't know, by pressing V in this update, you gain the ability to vote on random game-changing proposals. Now, I could wait here for the next hour or so until the vote that I'm looking for comes in between the 181 possible votes, or I could just speed up the inevitable for your viewing experience: Bouncy Castle, which turns every slime block into an infinite bounce house and turning the score 2 to 1 for humanity. With 7 rooms left to decide if humans are better than robots, ChatGPT completely fumbled the bag. Its ideal solution to this 20-block puzzle was to build a cobblestone generator and use this iron and no sticks to craft a pickaxe, mine cobble, and pillar out. What it failed to realize is that you can actually burn all those other items in the lava and just water yourself out. And just like that, the score is 3 to 1 for humanity. If I win just over half of the remaining games, I can seal the win. But just when I thought it was getting better, what is this? ChatGPT dropped this absolute bombshell of an escape room. 35 blocks with only 12 solid blocks to use. Even if I could actually hit myself with a bow and arrow to boost up each quartz, and I could use the chest, both repeaters, the lever, and the bow as stepping stools, I would still be 12 blocks short of the exit. I checked the wiki page of quartz to see if there was any vote update rule or any version of Minecraft history that made quartz useful. There was nothing. I was totally helpless, and just like that, it was 3 to 2. If I lost 2 more times out of the next 5 escape rooms, I would completely lose the challenge. So this next room had to be a win. Immediately, these supplies screamed one thing to me: snowman. There had to be some way I could utilize snow golems to get out of this escape room.
you